Welcome to Lesson 7. During this lesson, you're going to learn about the first 3 passes of the Charleston, otherwise known as the first Charleston. Charleston is a succession of moves that are done so that you can get tiles out of your rack that you don't want with hopes of getting other tiles in that you do want. The Charleston is broken up into a first Charleston and a second Charleston, and then finally an optional across pass. This lesson and the next 2 lessons will be covering the names of the passes and how each of the passes is done. How to determine which tiles are passed during each of the moves will be covered when we meet at ilovemahj.com for lessons 11, 12, and 13. The first Charleston is what we're going to be doing in this lesson, and that consists of the first right, an across, and the first left. So we're going to go ahead and start out with the first right. And everybody will pass 3 tiles that they don't want to the player on the right. Okay, now everybody's passed. And everybody can pick up their tiles and put them in their rack. Now the next move is the across move. Cross is done like this, and then I will get 3 players from this opponent. This player will put 3 here, and this player will put 3 here. And that's how it works on the inside of the walls, and just like that. All right, so then everybody can pick up their tiles and rack them. And now we're on the first left, which is the last move of the first 3 passes of the first Charleston. There's several things to talk about with this first left. If someone wants to stop the Charleston after the first 3 passes, which the first Charleston consists of, they can do so. Anybody can stop the Charleston before the second left is done. And if someone stops it, it stops for everyone, and then everyone would proceed to the optional across pass, which is still done. What's important to know about stopping the Charleston is that your intentions need to be announced during the first left. And the reason is because experienced Mah Jongg players are very quick. Should they receive a second left and pick it up, it will be too late to stop the Charleston. So I say something like this: go slow after the first left, I might want to stop it. And you could come up with your own words, but those are the words that I use in order to alert everybody that once the first left is done, nobody touch their tiles. Now, why would we want to stop the Charleston? Well, we would want to stop the Charleston because we don't have 3 tiles to pass. We actually got in such great tiles for our hands that we do not have 3 tiles to give up. But if you have 3 tiles to give up, you should continue. That's the smart way to play. And why would you want to continue? Because you have an opportunity to get in tiles on all of the rest of the moves. So it would be a second left, another across, a last right, and an optional. So that would be 3, 6, 9, potentially 12 tiles for you to get out of your hand and then get in 12 tiles to potentially look at and use toward your hand. In this particular case, I would continue because I do have 3 tiles to pass. Okay, now the other thing about the first left is that you can do a blind pass. A blind pass means that if you do not have 3 tiles to pass and you only have 2, you would put the 2 tiles here that you do have, and when you get your first left from the player on your right, you take one of the 3, it doesn't matter which, but you don't look at it. That's why it's called the blind pass. You take any one of those and add it to the 3 that you're giving, and then you would pick up your tiles. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the first left for everybody else. Up here, and up here. That's what the first left looks like. All right, so now that we've passed everything on, we can wrap our tiles, and this player can wrap their tiles, and this player can wrap their tiles, and this player can wrap their tiles. That's the first 3 moves of the Charleston. Let's review this one more time. There are 3 moves in the first Charleston. The first right, the across, the first left. The first left is when you would want to heed the warning to the other opponents if you are thinking that you might want to stop the Charleston because your tiles are coming in so beautifully that after that first left, you may not be able to continue if you don't have 3 tiles to pass. And you can do a blind pass on the first left. And the blind pass allows you to take as many tiles from the receiving player. You don't have enough to pass. So let's demonstrate that again one more time. So I only have, and I'll do it with another scenario, I only have 1 tile to pass for my first left. And when my opponent passes their first left, since I only have 1 to pass, I need to take 2, any 2, without looking, add them to my pass, and move them on. It doesn't matter if you wanted to take it and put it here so that your opponent knows that you're waiting on other tiles. They're going to figure out that you're waiting to do a blind pass, and then you could take those tiles, move it on, and then you've only received the 1 because you only had 1 to pass. And that's how the blind pass is done. Now that pretty much wraps up lesson number 7, and lesson number 8 we're going to be going over when and why it is advisable to stop the Charleston. So I will see you soon in lesson number 8. If you are enjoying these lessons, please consider making a small donation. I will also have the direct link in the video description, or you could go to the YouTube page and click on the donate button. All of the content I provide is free, and donations are greatly appreciated to help support the channel. Thank you so much.